Hello, everybody. I have my friend Tyler Fenwick with me. He is the head coach at Southeastern Oklahoma State University. And I've known Tyler since the mid-90s. We went to the same high school, Chaminade High School in the San Fernando Valley. And he excelled both at New Mexico State as well as in the coaching ranks, and has gone to many universities, Missouri, S&T, and now at Southeastern Oklahoma. Tyler, welcome to the program. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's pretty cool. I remember back in the 90s, you were a substitute teacher in my class.
Well, I hope I wasn't a jerk.
Yeah. No, it was a good class. It was fun.
Good.
Yeah.
No, I remember that because I was coaching at Chaminade and
Right.
And part-time substituting, and so yes, I had you and a bunch of other knuckleheads
Right.
in my
No
class, and we had fun. But we had a great football team, and it was a lot of fun. So it was awesome being part of that.
A lot of really good guys and guys that I'm friends with to this day. So a lot of memories.
Outstanding. So Tyler, I've been doing this video podcast, and I'm researching how young student athletes can get to the next level, to the college ranks, and I've talked to a couple of Division I coaches. I have not talked to a Division II coach, and that's where you come into play, because I know it's a little bit different. You know, the scholarship numbers are different. And probably the whole recruiting process is different. So if you could jump on board here and tell me, what your process is like for recruiting high school student athletes and how that works.
Yeah, I mean, it's, the model is definitely different just because of the amount of scholarships that we're allowed compared to Division I. And everybody, obviously, everybody wants to, be in that Division I scholarship athlete, going through high school and all that stuff. But, there's only so many spots for, at each program. And, Division I gets 85 scholarships, and I think they get like 25 a year. That might be changing here, coming up with some new rules. But Division II is 36 scholarships. Is the rule. That's the max that you can have, and so we're allowed to, like Division I, you have 85 full scholarships. They don't break them up. It's a full scholarship all the way through. And Division II model is more where you can break up the scholarships and take your 36 and spread it out. However you need to spread it out as far as what your needs are, what your depth looks like. So we have guys that are on maybe a whatever, a $3,000 scholarship, and we have some that are on, a $6,000 scholarship or whatever. And my philosophy is that I try to look at what their total financial package looks like. So maybe, do they get state money? Do they get federal government money, Pell Grant money? Do they get academic money? And how can we stack it so that it works for them and their family to go to school. So that, I kind of look at more of the NFL model of a salary cap, because when it comes down to, whatever money that our kids are on, our seniors are on, is the money, when they graduate, then that money kind of turns over, and that becomes, what we're going to be able to use for our next, our next freshman class. And then obviously attrition, piles into that as well. But, so every year is going to be different. There might be years where we sign 25 kids. There might be years that we sign 18 kids. There might be years that we sign 35 kids because we've got a large, senior class or whatever. So it's definitely different, but it's a pretty cool model. And I think there's some strategy that goes along to it. As far as the recruiting process, I think it's very similar to the Division I, other than probably the amount of money that they spend recruiting and traveling and flying from one state to another.
Right.
Division IIs, you kind of see more generally you kind of see more they're going to recruit their region, just, because, for us, it's, we're going to recruit, I don't know, 250 miles radius of our campus. Can we drive there and back, or can we drive there and maybe we have to stay overnight? But there's other schools. In fact, when I was at Missouri S&T, we were a high academic school. So from that standpoint, it was a big engineering school. And so we had to go find engineering football players, yeah, yeah. So you kind of had to go all over the country to kind of find those top guys, and and find guys that had that interest of wanting to be an engineer, and also good football players. And I think my last year there, when we won 10 games, we were I want to say 9 out of 11 of our starters on offense were engineering kids. And that's just, we had to recruit to that model, and that was kind of our niche. So a lot, the schools are different. It is probably similar. Stanford's got to go find the kids that is 31 ACT or whatever it is now. So, I think every school is different, but, we're going to get, emails just like everybody else. I mean, I've got 2,000 emails in my inbox right now, and who knows how many of those are recruits that they just keep on coming in, and we break up our area with our staff, and we've got one coach has this part of Dallas, Fort Worth area, and another part another coach has got East Texas, and and so we break them up, and we just try to build our pool as big as we can. And then as we get closer and closer, to visit days in January and signing day, it all just kind of funnels down, and your pool gets smaller and smaller, whether kids, you decide that you're not going to recruit that kid anymore, or because that kid's going to commit somewhere else or whatever, it just kind of keeps, dwindling down. So we don't have the early signing period, which I think is good for us, because once those kids realize that they're not signing, or that there's not Division I attention at the early signing period, those guys kind of start to realize, okay, maybe my dream is not going to come true with being a Division I, athlete. So, and they start to look at the Division II. So, we try to recruit, early, but we're not really, we're not getting commitments from and offering the sophomores and the juniors a whole lot. It's because we know that those guys are they're striving for that, to go to OU or Texas or USC, or they want to go and get the Division I scholarship. So we're a little bit more patient with it, and do our homework. So
now, are you guys able to go out on Friday nights and go see high school football games and do some recruiting there?
Yeah, absolutely. So we can get out and go to, our recruiting dates are pretty much the same as far as when we can get off campus. We can go to Friday night games and go watch kids play. December 1st, we get off campus and we are on the road and going and seeing, talking to coaches and going and meeting with kids, and, so, and then, in the spring, we're going to do spring recruiting. So we'll get out and go, compile our list of prospects that, coaches are recommending, and then, bring it back and start watching film. And then we, do the camp circuit in the summer, and, we'll have our own camps, and we'll go to camps and, and work camps and evaluate, kids that are, that are prospects, bringing them on campus and things like that. So, yeah, I mean, it's, the recruiting deal is, and we'll have we'll have game day, visits, and bring them on campus for game days. And, we'll get probably 20 to 30 prospects that will come on campus, this weekend and at our home games. So it's very similar, as far as the process goes. I think it's just probably one of those things where it's just not as extravagant as what, you see on social media and you see on, with the big schools.
Right. How does a kid, what's the best way for the kids to reach out to you? Is it through email? I mean, you have 2,000 emails in your in your inbox.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I mean, the emails, there's um, Twitter, that's always something where I'll get a direct message on Twitter that here's my film. Can you look at my film? That sort of thing. But honestly, I mean, a lot of it comes down to we're talking to the high school coaches a lot. And, if the high school coach says, hey, I recommend, I'm recommending this kid, you got to look at this kid. He's, whatever, he's 6'4", he's, 290. He's not getting a lot of attention, maybe because, he doesn't have quite the foot speed that, that the Division I's are looking for, that sort of thing. And so, a lot of it comes down to the relationships with the coaches. And that's where, when we get out on in the spring and we're not allowed to go recruit the kids in the spring, but we can go and meet with the coaches and get their, and get their prospect list and talk to the coaches about each kid and that sort of thing. And so and part of that, I think, is being able to get in front of the coaches, whether it's, I mean, shoot, in Texas, it seems like every high school has a recruiting coordinator, where, usually I think, in California, it seems like it's the head coach that's dealing with,
right.
All the recruiters that come through, but they have their own separate, recruiting coordinator that is basically, he is in charge of meeting with any of the coaches, college coaches that come on campus. And here's the prospect list. And, the head coach has got some other things going on or whatever. So there's a lot of that. So you got to get to know, those guys and just kind of start building a relationship. It's fortunate for us. We've got a lot of alumni from Southeastern that are coaching down in Texas and in Oklahoma. And so, we've got a lot of connections from that. But every once in a while we may get a kid from California. And usually, and probably more so when I was in at S&T, but that for me is kind of be one of those things where I've got some kind of connection. Maybe it's Ed Croson at Chaminade has a kid. Maybe it's just some kind of connection that because a kid from California or a kid from wherever that's out of the region, North Carolina. Why is he going to go to Oklahoma to a Division II school and not know anybody or not have anything, any kind of
Right.
connection to that staff or to, whatever. So I think, you got to be pretty selective as far as who you're bringing from out of state and are they going to make it and are they going to last, or are they going to get homesick and want to go home? So, there's a lot of those decisions. And when you sit there and you say, okay, we're going to bring in, 25 kids, 25 prospect or freshmen that we're going to sign, you become pretty selective in making sure that they're the right kid, that they're the right fit for your school. They got good character and they're not going to, embarrass your program and then they're going to contribute, and develop through our program the right way.
Right. Coach, you're 5-1 right now on the record. Who do you have coming up this weekend?
We've got Northwestern Oklahoma State this weekend.
Okay.
So they are up in Alva, Oklahoma.
And you have them at home?
We have them at home. Yeah, we have them at home. So it's a homecoming game.
Oh, homecoming. Nice.
Yeah.
And how many prospects do you have coming out to watch the game?
Gosh, I think we've got we're probably 25, I think.
Nice.
Yeah, I think we've got 25 coming up this week. So it'll be pretty busy. And the game day visits are interesting because you have to do them. It's great to get kids on campus. But at the same time, you're also trying to get ready for a game. And it's, I think I look at, for example, the Division I schools have a complete, recruiting staff now.
Right.
All they do is they sit in the office and they watch film and they recruit and they bring in prospects. Well, we don't, Division II, you don't have that. We hardly have I've got 4 full-time assistant coaches and, a few GAs and, some part-time guys. So, our game days with game day visits are, okay, we've got our pregame meal. We're going to go get our kids in the locker room, get them ready. And then we're going to go up and go meet with the recruits and, do a presentation, give them a quick tour. And then, oh yeah, we're going to get ready for a game, so it becomes a hectic day when you have, and it's something that you got to get used to, but that's also part of Division II football is, you don't have the huge staffs and you don't have, all these different departments that are working and so you wear a lot of hats, in Division II football, which is, it's good. I mean, I think it's old school. I remember working for Ed Croson at Birmingham High School and, painting the field. And, that's kind of the mentality that you have to have if you're, coaching at, small college Division II football. Now I'll say this, Division II football is really, really good football. We've got guys that probably, could be playing at Division I. We've got guys that will get into NFL camps. We had an NFL scout. We probably had 8 to 10 NFL scouts that have come to our practices this year, looking at kids and, kids that have potential. So it's really, it's very good, competitive, challenging football that's being played at the Division II level. And I think that's, a little bit of a misnomer as far as, well, it's just not, the same talent. And, they have obviously 85 scholarships at Division I. And so they have a lot more depth. But we've got guys that, they're really, really good, developed football players that take it very seriously and they're very competitive and compete, and all that. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Tyler, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you coming on, giving your 2 cents. I think it was really fun for me because I've had a couple high school coaches on, including Ed Croson. I've had some Division I coaches on, and you're kind of sandwiched there in the middle,
Yeah.
And it's really not something that I'm really too familiar with. I'm not well versed in Division II. So,
yeah.
Getting your feedback was awesome, and I hope that maybe we could rendezvous in the future here and talk again.
Yeah, that's the thing about, California is there's no Division II football in California.
Right.
And so the West Coast really doesn't understand Division II football. I remember, I grew up in the San Fernando Valley and my dad, coached at a junior college and he coached at Division I schools. And so I didn't know anything about Division II. I think at that time, it was, I think you had, I don't know if Chico State was Division II at that time or something way back when, but they've all dropped football. And so it's just kind of, there's a lot that's just the unknowns of Division II. And when I moved out from California, I went to Minnesota State Moorhead, and that was Division II. And then you see, you start learning about all these conferences in Division II and all this different, the playoff system and, how to recruit and the scholarship deal. And it's really a lot of fun. And I've had some teams where we've been to the playoffs and we've made runs in playoffs, and you kind of see the regional rankings come out, and it's different because everybody understands the bowl, the bowl series and you go to bowl games, and now they've kind of got this little playoff, 4-team playoff in Division I. And, but we have Division II, it's a big playoff, I think it's 32 teams right now.
Wow.
So yeah, it's very competitive to try to get into that, that 32 team bracket. And so it's a lot of fun,
That's awesome. Well,
yeah.
I hope you're part of that 32 team bracket.
We're working on it. Yeah, we're working on it. Yeah.
Good for you. My friend, be well. Thank you so much. And we'll stay in touch and we'll see how this season unfolds here.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. Anytime. Love to talk to you. Good catching up with you.
You too, Tyler. You take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.